Oh, wait, that is just a few days away. This is cute. I kind of already have her hairstyle. I wonder if I could make this outfit. They're sending me a Lunar New Year Barbie? Okay, I believe in learning and growing from our experiences, and a few months ago I faced Chinese brocade and I lost. So today I'm coming in for some redemption. When it comes to me learning to sew, I credit my mom helping me make little outfits for my dolls. Barbie has always held a special place in my fashion journey, and this is the 2023 Lunar New Year Barbie designed by Chinese fashion designer Guo Pei and Barbie doll designer Joyce Chen. The inspiration for this year's Guo Pei Lunar New Year doll comes from a design in one of Guo Pei's past collections. Oh, I should look that one up. It's in a traditional Chinese royal blue color with embroidered details featuring golden dragons that represent good fortune and strength. Some of you might actually already know of previous work done by Guo Pei and Joyce Chen, like this Barbie doll whose outfit appeared life-size at the 2015 Met Gala on Rihanna, and as some say, perhaps one of the last great Met Galas. Fun fact, this dress took 50,000 hours of work spanning 2 years, and I have 4 days to make a cute little outfit. I'm gonna draft a pattern from my Letter Low kit. I have picked out this little jacket. It has a really similar silhouette, a little crossover button closure in the front, 3/4 length sleeves. I feel like if I just modify this a little bit, I'll be close. If you guys don't see a link for this little guy in the description, somebody remind me in the comments. It is so good for cutting with seam allowance. I line up this little black band right here with the line that I've drawn, and that gets me cutting 1 centimeter away, which is the seam allowance that I'm comfortable with. In the original design, there's this really cute dart on the side. I guess it's similar, if not the same, as a princess dart. But in Chinese traditional attire, darts don't really show up that much. So first, I need a little manipulation to get rid of this dart. And then the second issue is this pattern is supposed to get me a jacket with kind of a little tapered bottom, but the design I'm going for has a flared bottom. And so here's the dart manipulation solution. First, I cut open the bottom half of the dart, and then with the top half of the dart, I'm gonna crease this lower curve. That folded edge is now going to be brought over to touch the top curved edge. And now I'm gonna cut this out as if there's no dart here. And you see at the bottom, by bringing these together, the distance is getting wider, and so it's flaring out a little. Adding a little tape to hold it together, this is what you get. This wouldn't go well if it was a slim fit garment, but because it's a jacket, there will be enough ease for us to dance around this adjustment. If there was a script, things are now going off script. I'm just rolling with what I'm seeing. To achieve that crossover shape in the front, I realized I actually need my left and my right to be the same. And so I have now merged my left and the right. This is that center button, the side button, and then I'm aiming to draw the shape that gets us to the opposite armpit. If I just have one piece I use for left and right, then it's guaranteed to be symmetrical. So let me doodle this out. So I started with the bodice template that this jacket provides. That's everything in purple. I needed to drag this neckline higher to match the original, so I copied over the higher neckline from my Chanel coat. That's all in blue. I did the dart manipulation to get rid of this little princess dart and to flare out the bottom. And then in pink, I drew out the shape that matches the button design. Whew! I am going to do one thing that is a nod to traditional Chinese garment construction. The pattern calls for you to fold the fabric along that center point so that when you cut out the back piece, it is one complete symmetrical back. However, I have cut it with seam allowance because I'm planning on getting rid of the shoulder seam and instead putting that seam into the center back. I'll put up a few pictures here to help you see what I mean. Here is the back joined along the shoulder seam to the front. So now this goes from your center back to cross over in the front. This goes from armpit to armpit. Unfortunately, this is where I got off the sewing highway and into some deep, deep traffic. Marla got too sick to go to daycare, so everything's on pause while I take care of her. And now I'm definitely fighting something. I did manage to get fabric. I'll show you how that turned out. But I also got in the mail a new lens. Ah! Wow! Okay, let's talk about fabric. In downtown Toronto, there are two stores I would check out for this project. Leo's Textiles and Truxing, which are basically across the street from each other, but I did go in managing my expectations. And that's because the main occasion people purchase this type of Chinese brocade or jacquard, I forget which one, I'll put it here, is for weddings. And so there's gonna be a lot of red, a lot of gold. I already knew there was no way I was gonna find a dragon look. However, I did find dragonflies. And I'm quite happy with it. They have a bit of an iridescent quality where they hover between green, gold, and purple. The next thing to look for was a thin gold bias tape. The gold that I was able to find was a bit too glittery, and I think I wanted something with a more even satin sheen. And so of course, I had to make my own bias tape. Remembered that I had this gold satin from this cowl neck dress that I made before, and last night I cut all the strips on a bias. I sewed them together, pressed the seams, pressed them into the bias tape shape. This is the fruit of my activity so far. Golden noodles. If I have to make more, I will. Please don't make me do it. But now I'm going to cut out our pattern pieces. I'm going to be using this tool for the first time, a little spiked tracing wheel. I go along the pattern in the place that I need to draw a line, and then see, here's the little perforations. I purposefully tried to cut this piece so that the purple would be smack in the middle to give a bit of symmetry. These are the little nerdy details that I'm hoping will translate. Like how I tried to put this dragonfly right there so it can just hang out on my collarbone. We'll see about that. Everything has been cut out, so now I guess I gotta start sewing, and I don't want to. We return to my first rule of making a top, which is make a vest. Which in this case means that I'm going to be joining the two backs along the center. But before I attach these two together, I'm actually going to attach bias trim to both of these edges because I'm trying to be a professional. Your time has come! Oh, great golden noodle. Well, that was a good practice run. I first sew the bias tape to the wrong side of the fabric and then flipping it around. I do a top stitch to fully encase all the raw edges. I might have to set up both machines, and one will be gold thread machine and one will be teal thread machine. This is one of my favorite features of Bernina machines. Built in here is a cord winder. Okay. Oh my gosh, this one looks way nicer. Switching over to the blue machine, now I'm going to sew the two backs right sides together. Today we start with bias along this collar piece. With attaching bias tape, especially something so visible like a front neckline, it's nice to lay it out roughly along the path first because you're checking for places where the bias tape joined. I like to snip that bit off so that you don't see any bias tape seams. Just like before, I'm going to attach the bias tape to the wrong side of the material first, and I'm going to give it a trim to make sure it's a super neat edge, and then folding it over and throwing down a top stitch. Oh, wow. I think that just went shockingly better than I could have ever hoped or expected. It's smooth. Okay, now I attach it. She goes right here. I should have just attached it all in one top stitch. Yeah! Love it! All that work was worth it. I am pleased. I forget what I'm supposed to do next. Ooh, join the sides. These two. Right. We were making a vest. Step one. Still not complete. For the first time, I can actually try it on. Oh, it's cute. And I think the back looks clean. Each of the raw edges got wrapped in bias tape, but for the rest of the seams, I'm just gonna wrap all of the raw fabric into one bias tape instead of doing twice the work. I just like to do this on the back because it is such a central line of symmetry and I want it to lie really flat. Ta-da! So nice. And also, not fraying on me anymore. Now that we've made a vest, step one is complete. Step two is the sleeves. I'm gonna bring these right sides together along the straight edge and sew it closed. Gonna slide this in, pin them right sides together. Time to try it on. Amazing! This is as far forward as I can bend though. There is no give. This means I can seal the raw edges of the armhole. Yeah! I guess I will go for the nice and simple way, which is bias trim all of the edges. This is how much noodles I have left. I also gotta figure out my little button situation. I've decided to go with little snap closures. Picked out the black one. This one here is labeled for medium weight. I am stressed. I feel like a lot is riding on this. Like I have to get the placement of them all perfect in order for this to work. I'm gonna sew by hand while it's on the dress form, and then there will be a moment of truth trying it on. I could have made a simple little skirt, but I actually really love the idea of this jacket going over a dress. It just feels a little truer to traditional Chinese dress. Here I had the pattern pieces laid out to try to make this dress. I was pretty exhausted at this point, so I just kept it real simple with no pattern modification. Before the Barbie arrives today, here's my finished outfit. It's here! I'm gonna open. Wait. What? Hello, Wendy tried to do some research for this video, but she failed to realize that there are multiple Lunar New Year Barbies. My Lunar New Year look is inspired by the Tang Dynasty with sweeping tones of orange, red, and blue, so maybe Wendy will have to try again to make a Hanfu look at some point. We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we wish you the best in this Lunar New Year. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.